Hi guys, it's Mark with Texas Fund Finding. Thanks for tuning in. You know, I've been talking to colleagues and other people in asset recovery business, especially here in Texas, and I've heard from a few people that they've had problems getting a list of excess proceeds from certain counties. Personally, I haven't had that experience, that is, until recently. I was talking to a district clerk in a county in South Texas. Not a very big county. They only have sales once a quarter, as a matter of fact, not monthly. And she flat out said they do not have a list or sell a list or maintain a list. So, that said, I'm going to make my own, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's start. Okay guys, to get started, I wanted to quickly go over the Excel spreadsheet I used to kind of make my list. I'm old and kind of old school. Don't even use the CRM at the moment, to be honest with you. So this is how I would make my Excel spreadsheet to make my list of funds in a particular county's court registry. I really want to know what date that county's district clerk received the funds, because that's when the 2-year window starts, if you will. But for now, all we can do is put down the date of the auction and then later find out what date the county actually received the funds. And you can update that column at that point so you know how much time you have to recover the funds. Next column, I like to put the suit number, cause number, case number. It's funny how every county is different, but I like to put it there. Next column, I put the defendants, the people that were sued, that lost the property. Might be one individual, might be several. So make a pretty wide column for that. Beside that, I put the property address, the legal description of that property. That's very important. We use that later when we do our due diligence and look up title on the property through PropWire or Property Radar, even though you don't need the legal description on those sites to do that. But you would if you went through that county clerk site or the property records department, if you will, in that county, in the county clerk's office to check title on a property. Parcel number, I make a column for it, but honestly, I don't use it that often. I use the legal description more often. I put, obviously, we need to know what it's sold for to get a starting point. And then, of course, the minimum bid. But I also need to know, and you'll run it across this a lot, if there were any other taxes owing on the property that were not included in the suit or the minimum bid. Sometimes it's easier to find this information than other times. Sometimes you may have to call that county's tax office or that county's tax assessor collector's office, especially if it's in a smaller county. If you work in a bigger county, that information should be available online through those departments' websites. And what I'll do is I'll take the minimum bid from the auction and any other taxes owing, and I'll add the two and subtract that. That becomes total taxes. I'll subtract total taxes from what it's sold for, and that'll give me what I go off of in terms of determining how much is there in excess proceeds and whether or not it's working or not. And then I'll make another column, and it should be much wider for notes, whether you're skip tracing or you put other information in there regarding that particular case there. But that's my setup. That's just how I like it. Feel free to adopt it if you'd like. But let's get started. Okay, guys, first stop is here, realauction.com. Love this site. Why? Mainly because it's free and they provide a lot of great info. But realauction.com, what we're going to do is get the results from tax sales going back 2 years. And the example we're using here in this case is Atascosa County, Texas. So to get that information, go to realauction.com. Again, it's a free site. Click on Clients. Scroll down. These are all tax sales. We're going to go to Texas, obviously, but just wanted to show you other states that you can get results for. Scrolling through Ohio, there's Texas, there's Atascosa. From here, you click on Auction Calendar, and you have to come back to this screen every time to be able to go back 2 years back and go over every tax sale that we need to check. Here's the July sale. Looks like there were 14 properties that went, and it's pretty easy to understand. Obviously, we're just looking for properties sold to third-party bidders for an amount over and hopefully considerably over what the minimum bid was. Here, 17.3 minimum bid, 10,100. That's kind of iffy, but I'm going to pass on a particular case. There's a better one coming up. I'll show you. This one here, it sold for 32.6. Minimum bid was 14,666. I would copy and paste. And before I leave this, I would click on this, see the little link here under account number. That'll give you more information that we'll need. But I'll take the account number, copy and paste that here. We know the sale was July 25. And then we'll need to get as much information as we can. The owner of record, copy and paste her name. We'll confirm in a minute who is sued, but for now, we'll put her. Looks like that's our address. And of course, you'd have to want to add the city as well and the zip code. The legal description you can get off of the next step here. But you'd want to pay attention to the mailing address. In this case, it looks like there was an undeliverable P.O. box. That's about all we really need. Oh, and the legal description, of course. That would go there. Then we would fill in what it's sold for and the minimum bid. Okay, I've kind of cleaned things up, entered in the other information. For the time being, I put the initial amount of excess proceeds, if you will, just by subtracting the minimum bid from what it's sold for, $17,933. I am still concerned, though, about other taxes owing. And if I didn't mention it already, the reason is the law firm that handles recovering delinquent taxes for Atascosa County, Lineberger, Goggin, Blair, Sampson, what they have a habit of doing, and it's perfectly legal, is if there's an overage and there's other taxes owing that weren't included in the suit, they will petition to have those other taxes paid out of the overage before anybody gets a dollar. And they've been successful in getting that done almost every time. So it's to the point now where, let's say, if there was another $4,000 owing in taxes that weren't included in the suit, I would add that $4,000 to the minimum bid, almost as if the minimum bid was $18,666, and that would be my total taxes, and I would subtract that from the minimum bid. I mean, there's always a chance that the new owner, whoever bought it at the auction, won't know any better. He might be new, and he might know that there's other taxes owing, and to protect his interest, he'll pay those taxes out of his own pocket so that he isn't someday foreclosed on for back taxes. And if he does that, he does us and the homeowner a favor, because that's $4,000 more that will get left in the court registry that we can recover. But you can't assume that's going to happen. It rarely does. So I add any other taxes to the minimum bid, come up with total taxes, subtract total taxes from what it's sold for to get an excess proceeds amount. But since I don't have this amount yet, this is just an initial figure. It will likely go down once we find out what other taxes are owing. Okay, now that we have some information, I copy and paste the cause or suit or case number, and I go here. This website is a gem. Why? Because, well, first, it's free. Secondly, again, very useful. Thirdly, you can plug in suit numbers, case numbers, cause numbers from tax suits from various counties around Texas, which vary from county to county, by the way. No two counties are the same. But plug in the cause number here, the suit number, case number. It'll detect it and pull up that particular tax suit case. And you'll be able to see the documents in the tax case that led up to the property being sold. And you can get more information off those documents, such as what other defendants are named in the suit. And even if a claim has already been made on the funds, whether it be by the law firm collecting taxes in that county for the county, or an individual or a lien holder. All I do, and it's a free site, free to set up an account. You do put a credit card on file, because you also have the ability to print and buy and purchase some of the documents included in this suit at a pretty affordable price. But here I've already copied and pasted in a tax suit. It pulls it up right here, Atascosa County. You can click on it, and in due time, it will show you even more information you need. It'll show you the defendant, and if you scroll down, once it downloads, it'll show you all the events in that case leading up to the sale, and even in some cases, if it was a while back that the property was sold, it'll show you any petitions or motions brought before the court to recover any excess proceeds. You can see what led up to the sale. I mean, they sued these people way back in 2021. So as you can see, probably any taxes after 2021 or 2022 weren't included, just any taxes probably leading up to this point. So that's why I say you always have to look out for other taxes that are owing that weren't included in this suit. Here you see the order of sale. Here you see a claim for the excess proceeds in May of 2024. You can click on it, and then it'll show you the first page of the document. If you want to see the whole document, you have to buy it, but I believe it's 10 cents a page, no more than $1 for the complete document. There's page 1. You can see it'll tell you right there who is petitioning for the excess proceeds, and it was the same people that forced the sale in the first place. So again, it was in regards to other taxes owing. It wasn't like the homeowner petitioned the court. But again, write down this website, very useful. It's free, ton of information, and it's your one central source, if you will, to search tax cases from Nueces County, Travis County, Bexar County, Harris County, Dallas County, pretty much anywhere around Texas. If you have the cause number, plug it in, case number, it'll pull it up, and you don't have to hop from county to county to get information here. So getting back to our list, really all we really need to know to nail down roughly how much is there to recover in terms of excess proceeds is what other taxes are owing that could affect that $17,900 amount. And your best bet to get that information would be to call, especially if it's in a smaller county, that county's tax assessor collector or the county's tax office, and give them the account number, which would come in handy. You would have it right there, or a lot of times they can pull it up by the physical address. Just make sure it's the right property. And in the bigger counties, you should be able to pull that information up online on either the tax assessor collector's website or that county's tax office website, again, for the bigger counties. But you need that information. You need to really nail down that amount there before you proceed to really get a feel for whether or not it's worth going after or not. Once you've gotten your information as far as other taxes owing on the property and you've got an updated amount of excess proceeds, if it's still worth working, you then do your due diligence and do title work on the property to see what other liens, mortgages, maybe on the property that you have to worry about. A lien holder going in to get the excess proceeds, for example. You also need to research the owner, and in this case, since we're in Atascosa County, Texas, this is the county clerk site to do that. But that is it in a nutshell, folks. So we just kind of rinse and repeat. You know, we start with the July 2025 sale. We go back 2 years, a total of 8 sales in this case with this county. We just go back to the next sale, which is February, click on it, scroll down, look for third-party sales where the property sold for considerably more than the minimum bid. And we're just adding in the same information into your CRM or your worksheet, and you accumulate your list and you go back 2 years. And again, this is a smaller county. They only have sales every 3-4 months. So there's not that many sales really to go back and check. We're already back a year, about a year and a half. Okay, and with this being July 2025, this would be your last sale to check. Only 4 properties went to sale that month. Only 1 sold to a third party, but for minimum bid, so there wouldn't be anything there to add to the list. But that is it in a nutshell. I may or may not have missed something. If I did, please comment below. Also, I have a free Facebook group. I'll include a link below for you to join. And as always, like and subscribe if you gained anything from this. And we'll see you on the next video.